There is a force that pulses through every woman, a strength that has been hidden beneath the surface for too long. For centuries, the world has sought to define her, to confine her, to soften her. Society has told her that true femininity is gentle, passive, compliant. It has told her that her power is in her kindness, her nurturing, her ability to sacrifice for the good of others. But true femininity is not softness. It is not bending or yielding to the whims of the world. True femininity is strength, the strength to stand firm, the strength to hold your ground even when the world tells you to step aside. This is a strength that comes not from brute force, not from the violence of domination, but from an inner knowing, a knowing that is so deep it cannot be swayed. It is a strength that is quiet, resilient, and unapologetic. It is the strength that says, I will not be moved, I will not be bent, I will not shrink. And it is in this strength that a woman becomes her most powerful self. For far too long, the feminine spirit has been reduced to a shallow version of what it truly is. We have been taught that to be feminine is to be delicate, to be seen and not heard, to constantly give and sacrifice. We have been told that our worth is found in our ability to please, to be accommodating, to be soft. But this is a distortion, a lie that has been perpetuated for generations. True femininity is not about being soft. It's about being unshakable. It's about having the strength to hold your ground, to be true to yourself, and to never apologize for it. In the face of adversity, the world often tells women to soften, to compromise, to take the back seat. It says, don't rock the boat. Don't cause trouble. Don't be too loud, too bold, too assertive. It makes people uncomfortable. But the truth is, when you stand firm in your truth, when you hold your ground unapologetically, you create the change the world so desperately needs. The world needs women who are not afraid to speak their truths. The world needs women who are not afraid to disrupt the status quo. The world needs women who will not shrink to make others comfortable. This strength is not about aggression, but about knowing your value and standing firm in it. It is the quiet power that doesn't need to shout to be heard. It's the power of a woman who understands that she is enough, just as she is, and will not compromise on that truth. True femininity is the courage to take up space, to stand tall, to say no when it's necessary, and to say yes to yourself. It is a force that comes from the deepest parts of your soul. It comes from knowing who you are and not being afraid to live that truth. It is the strength to walk through the world with confidence, knowing that you don't need anyone's permission to be who you are. It is the strength to say no when you are being asked to sacrifice your peace, your values, or your truth. It is the strength to choose yourself, to choose your path, even if it's not the path everyone expects you to take. This strength is not always celebrated. In fact, for many women, it's often feared, misunderstood, and even vilified. When a woman is unapologetically herself, she can be seen as difficult, uncooperative, or even selfish. But the truth is, the world needs women who are not afraid to be difficult, who are not afraid to challenge what is expected of them. The world needs women who will not bend to societal pressures, who will not shrink into the roles that have been forced upon them. The world needs women who are brave enough to stand firm, to say, this is who I am, and I will not be moved. The strength of true femininity is often misunderstood because it does not fit into the narrow boxes that society has created. It is not about playing small. It is not about being agreeable or passive. It is not about silence in the face of injustice. True femininity is about resilience, about having the courage to fight for your space, for your voice, for your truth. True femininity is about standing in your power, fully and completely, and never apologizing for it. This strength, this power, is not something that is given to you by others. It is not something that can be bestowed upon you by the world. It is something you claim for yourself. You claim it when you stop seeking approval from others. You claim it when you stop measuring your worth by the opinions of those around you. You claim it when you stop shrinking yourself to fit into the small spaces that others have created for you. You claim it when you decide that you will not be defined by anyone but yourself. It is a power that rises within you when you refuse to be moved by the world's expectations. When you say no to what drains you, when you say no to anything that asks you to compromise your soul, when you say no to what doesn't align with your truth, that's when the real power begins. And that power will change everything. It will change the way you show up in the world. It will change the way people see you. It will change the way you see yourself. When you know the power of holding your ground, you will find that you no longer need to prove anything. You no longer need to perform or seek validation. You no longer need to be seen in a particular way to be worthy of respect. Your worth is inherent. It is not dependent on anyone else's perception of you. It is not tied to your ability to fit into a mold that society has crafted for you. Your worth is in your very being, in your authenticity, in your courage to stand tall and unapologetically declare, "This is who I am, and I will not apologize for it." The true power of femininity is the ability to hold your ground. It is the strength to stand firm, to walk with unwavering confidence, and to never back down from your truth. It is the strength to choose yourself, to protect your peace, and to live your life on your own terms. True femininity is not about softness. It is about the fierce, unshakable strength to live unapologetically as yourself. And when you embrace this power, everything changes. Your relationships change. The way you approach the world changes. The way you move through life changes. You stop apologizing for being who you are. You stop trying to shrink or soften yourself for others. You start living in alignment with your truth, and you find that nothing in this world can move you. This is the power of a woman who knows who she is, a woman who stands firm in her truth no matter what, a woman who holds her ground and says, "I am worthy. I am enough, and I will not bend to the world's expectations of me." This is the power of true femininity. It is not about softness or compliance. It is about the strength to hold your ground, the courage to be unapologetically yourself, and the will to rise above everything that tries to hold you back. So, stand firm and claim your power. The world needs the woman who knows her strength, who knows her worth, and who will not back down. That woman is you. When you embrace the true essence of your femininity, not the softness, but the strength to stand unwavering in your truth, something remarkable happens. You begin to redefine the very concept of power. It's no longer about brute force or dominance, but about the quiet, indomitable resolve to remain true to yourself, regardless of the external noise. This power doesn't demand attention. It commands respect. It is the kind of power that doesn't seek to control others, but to control your own narrative. It is the strength to rise above what the world tells you to be, and instead to become everything you are meant to be. And that is where the true magic lies, in the realization that you are enough as you are, without having to conform to anyone else's expectations. And this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires a fierce commitment to your own growth, a willingness to embrace discomfort, and the courage to reject the narratives that have been handed down to you. It requires you to get to know yourself on a deeper level, to embrace your shadows, your vulnerabilities, and your strengths. This is the work of reclaiming your authenticity, the journey of shedding the layers that have been placed upon you and revealing the powerful, resilient, unapologetic woman beneath. It is in this process that you will learn the value of your energy. No longer will you give it away to everyone who asks. No longer will you allow others to dictate your emotional landscape, to take from you without offering anything in return. Your energy is sacred, and when you begin to hold your ground, to say no when it's necessary, you begin to honor it. You begin to create the boundaries that protect your peace, and in doing so, you protect your power. When you say no, you teach others how to treat you. You teach them that you are not to be used, not to be drained, and not to be taken for granted. You show them that your time, your energy, your presence is valuable, and it is only to be given to those who truly respect you and align with your highest self. This is not a form of rejection, it is a form of self-respect. It is the courage to demand more from your life, to demand more from your relationships, and to step into the fullness of who you are without apology. As you continue on this journey, you will face resistance. There will always be those who try to make you feel guilty for saying no. There will be voices, both internal and external, telling you that you should give more, that you should do more, that you should sacrifice more. But each time you stand firm, each time you draw a boundary, you are teaching the world a lesson that you will no longer shrink, no longer compromise, no longer hide your true self. And with every act of defiance against these old patterns, you grow stronger, more resilient, and more connected to your true power. The strength to hold your ground also comes with the wisdom to know when to move. It's not about being rigid or inflexible. It's about knowing where to stand firm and when to bend, when to take action, and when to allow stillness. This balance, this dance between strength and softness is where true power lies. True femininity is not about rejecting any part of yourself, but embracing all of it, your gentleness and your fierceness, your tenderness and your resilience, your ability to flow and your ability to stand like a mountain in the face of the storm. When you choose to live in alignment with this power, when you choose to honor your boundaries, your needs and your truth, you become a force of nature. You attract those who honor you, and you repel those who do not. The world, in all its noise and chaos, will no longer have the power to sway you. You become the force that shapes your own life, that creates your own destiny, that stands as a pillar of strength and clarity, knowing that you are deserving of every good thing that comes your way. You will begin to notice that the more you stand firm in your truth, the more you are able to show up authentically in every area of your life. You no longer wear masks or play roles. You are fully unapologetically you. And this is when true transformation happens. The people around you, your friends, your family, your colleagues, will begin to see the strength in you. They will be drawn to your authenticity, your power, your unwavering confidence. They will respect you, not because you have demanded it, but because you have earned it by simply being yourself. And this respect, this reverence that you have earned, is the natural outcome of a woman who holds her ground. It is the recognition of your worth, your strength, and your ability to stand unwavering in the face of the world's expectations. And once you step into this power, you will find that the world begins to reflect it back to you in ways you never imagined. So, stand firm. Embrace the strength that lies within you. Do not allow the world to define you, to limit you, or to make you feel less than you are. Stand tall in the face of adversity. Hold your boundaries with grace and confidence, and know that the true power of femininity is not in softness, it is in the strength to hold your ground, to never compromise on who you are, and to live your life with unapologetic authenticity. When you embrace this strength, you become unstoppable. You become a force that shapes the world around you. And in that power, you will find a freedom and peace that cannot be shaken, a peace that comes from knowing that you are living in alignment with your truest self. This is the strength of true femininity. It is not about softness. It is about the courage to be strong, to stand firm, and to hold your ground. And when you do, you will realize that you are not just surviving, you are thriving, creating, and becoming everything you were always meant to be. As you continue to embrace the power of holding your ground, a deeper shift begins to take place within you. You start to realize that true strength is not a force that you exert on others, but the force that emanates from within you. It is an internal energy, a confidence born not of external validation, but of a deep connection to your own soul. This strength is unshakable because it is rooted in your own truth. It is a strength that is quiet, yet powerful, like a steady river carving its path through solid rock. The world will attempt to test you, to push you, to challenge your resolve. But with each trial, you become more solid, more grounded, and more confident in your ability to remain unmoved. This inner strength is not always loud or showy. It does not seek attention. It simply is. It's the stillness that exists beneath the chaos. It's the calm at the center of the storm. The woman who knows her strength does not need to constantly prove herself. She is comfortable in her silence, her stillness, her unwavering conviction. And in this peace, she becomes magnetic. People are drawn to her not because she shouts or demands attention, but because her presence is felt. Her strength is in her authenticity. The more you hold your ground, the more you will see that others begin to respect you, not because of how hard you push, but because of how steadfastly you remain. You will no longer need to explain yourself, nor will you feel the need to seek permission. You will stand tall in your power, and others will begin to naturally align with that. The woman who holds her ground doesn't beg for respect. She commands it effortlessly. The world sees her not as fragile, not as passive, but as a force to be reckoned with. And in the process, you will also realize that holding your ground isn't about resisting the world's pressures out of stubbornness. It's about listening to yourself so deeply that you can no longer ignore your own truth. It is an act of self-awareness and deep self-respect. When you refuse to bend, when you say no to things that do not align with your values, you are giving yourself permission to exist fully as you are. You are saying to the world, I am worthy of respect. I am worthy of my peace, my time, my energy, and I will not sacrifice any part of myself for the comfort of others. In this moment, you start to understand that your value is not determined by what you do for others, by how much you give, or how much you bend for others' comfort. Your worth is inherent, built into the very fiber of your being. And the more you refuse to compromise on this truth, the more you embody your real power. True femininity does not exist to please or appease. It exists to live fully and unapologetically in the fullness of one's own truth. And when you step into this power, it is liberating. The moment you embrace your strengths, you begin to shed the layers of self-doubt, insecurity, and the conditioning that told you to shrink, to hide, and to play small. You stop apologizing for your presence. You stop feeling guilty for setting boundaries. You stop pretending to be something you're not just to fit in. You stop seeking external validation because you realize that you are the only one who gets to decide your worth. You stop giving away your power to others. The world may try to label you, to tell you that you are too much, too loud, too bold, too independent. But you know better. You know that being too much is exactly what the world needs. The world needs more women who hold their ground, who stand firm in their power, and who refuse to shrink to make others feel comfortable. When you know your worth, you no longer fear what others think of you. You no longer seek to please or conform to society's narrow standards. You simply are. This shift isn't just about saying no to others. It's about saying yes to yourself. You begin to embrace your own desires, your own dreams, and your own needs with clarity and courage. You begin to make decisions based on what serves your highest good, and you let go of the fear that has been holding you back. The woman who knows her strength is not paralyzed by the need for approval. She acts from a place of certainty, from a place of self-love, from a place of knowing that her decisions, her dreams, and her goals are worth pursuing. In this way, the strength to hold your ground becomes not just a form of resistance, but a form of creation. It becomes the foundation on which you build your life, on which you create your reality, and on which you craft your future. You are no longer swept along by the currents of the world. Instead, you become the one who directs your own course. You are the captain of your own ship. This strength, this power, will also teach you how to navigate the inevitable storms of life. Life will test you. People will challenge you. The world will demand your attention, your time, and your energy. But as you continue to strengthen your resolve, as you continue to stand in your truth, you will find that you become unshakable. You will face adversity with grace and resilience. You will no longer be rattled by the opinions of others, the criticisms or the challenges. Instead, you will meet them with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for. And as you walk through the world, you will notice that the very energy you put out will begin to shift. The more you stand in your truth, the more you will attract the right people and experiences into your life. You will attract those who respect your boundaries, those who support your journey, and those who uplift you as you continue to hold your ground. The more you claim your power, the more the universe aligns with your energy, and the more you will find yourself walking a path that is uniquely yours, a path that reflects the deepest desires of your soul. So, stand firm in your truth. Hold your ground with pride, with grace, and with unwavering confidence. Know that the strength you possess, the strength of true femininity, is not about softness. It is about resilience, courage, and the unshakable belief in your worth. You have the power to create the life you deserve, and nothing can move you off that path. This is the strength of true femininity. This is the strength that lies within you. And when you begin to embrace it, you will find that you are not just surviving, you are thriving, you are evolving, and you are becoming everything you are always meant to be. In the end, the true power of a woman does not come from weakness or the unconditional sacrifice of herself. That power comes from the ability to stand firm, from the inner strength to protect herself, to remain steadfast in what she believes, and never to be shaken by the forces outside of her. When a woman realizes this power, she no longer fears, no longer feels the need to seek approval from others. She will know that her value does not depend on the world's consensus. This strength is not about being rigid or violent. It is about resilience, calmness, and the ability to say no when necessary, and to say yes to what truly matters. A woman's power lies in her ability to hold her ground and never sacrifice herself for anything or anyone but herself. And when she truly stands in this strength, the world will change. Not because she imposes herself on others, but because she affirms herself, and from that affirmation the world will have no choice but to respect her. Everything will fall into place naturally from the unwavering self-confidence that comes from never backing down or changing herself to fit into anyone else's expectations. When a woman knows how to hold her ground, she not only transforms her own life, but she becomes an inspiration to those around her, empowering them to stand up and live authentically as well. That is the true strength of femininity. It is not softness, but resilience. It is the ability to protect oneself and live a life without regret. So, stand firm in your truth. Show your strength without fear. Know that you deserve all the good things that come your way, and never let anyone or anything make you compromise. Your power is in your unwavering strength, in the ability to hold your ground in every circumstance. And when you do that, nothing can stop you from moving forward.